Hi, I'm Don Harris, and I'd like to tell you about a project that I've been working on for quite some time. It's called Job, a postmodern opera of biblical proportions. It is an all-original opera based on the story of Job. I actually started writing the lyrics for it a little over 25 years ago, about 7 years ago, when I started working on it again. Got it to a point of completion, I thought, and approached my wife about it and told her that I had written an opera.
I remember that day. Most wives get their husbands telling them, "Happy New Year, honey." But no, he says, by the way, for the last 20 years I have been writing the lyrics to an opera. And he brings in this ream of paper. I used to see lyrics before, but not that big of a stack. But of course, curiosity got the best of me. He's a very good lyricist, I knew that. So as I started going through the many songs, I found one, The Windblown Leaf, that caught my attention, and that was the very first one. And it was really great because the notes just seemed to pop right off the page, and I sent him out of the room while I worked on it. And I'll never forget the first time I sang and played just the very basics. Got through, turned around, and this man, who is just, not a crybaby, he was sobbing behind me. He's starting to cry now because he says that is the most beautiful song I've ever heard. And I think we knew at that point that God had just really anointed the work.
There was really something special in it. I'd like to introduce Diane, who is our business manager, our agent, our go-to girl for everything that we need to get done.
And a friend.
And a good friend.
Thank you. I have known Don and Suzanne for some time now. Just some of the finest people I've ever met. And their skills and talents and abilities are as eclectic as their musical. Just combined together, they're a powerful team. They've created this tremendous anointed story that touches the heart of everyone that hears it and creates such excitement. Don, what really inspired you to write Job?
I have asked myself that question many times. I think it's not something I decided to do. It was something that was given to me to do. The story of Job itself is such an incredibly powerful story, one that is so beautiful and so deep and so misunderstood in many ways. I was drawn to the story, and I wanted to be able to tell the story in a way that would relate to our modern and postmodern society, which is why I wanted to call it a postmodern opera. It's just incredibly refreshing to be talking about a story that I love so much and be able to relate it and have people just say, wow, I never really thought about it that way before, because there's so much in the book of Job, there's so much in the story that we just tend to gloss over, or we overlook it, or we just have this preconceived notion about it. And many times it's the story is not what you think it is. It's not saying what you think it is.
I agree, and I noticed that when I saw it for the first time, and I got a new understanding for Job's wife. The book of Job is so relevant to what we're going to in our country and our economy today, and there's so many people hurting with unanswered questions. And when you take the questions of Job and see how they're answered and see this powerful musical, it gives you hope for our future. Don, tell us a little bit more about the company of Job.
Well, the Company of Job was formed to help us produce the opera that Suzanne and I have written. And our mission is to find the humanity in the story and to bring Job to life, to put flesh and blood on these characters that are so often presented as just two-dimensional and shallow. But the story of Job just breaks down so many barriers that we tend to put up between ourselves. And when we face each other's humanity and when we face each other's suffering and we learn to share in the suffering, it just breaks all those barriers down. They just don't mean anything.
We've done several just church shows before. We've done the West of You downtown, local things, the Arts and the Hearts. We've done a dinner theater and a dessert theater. And I'm so excited about the upcoming Croc Center in March of next year, because we're finally going to get an orchestra pit to put the orchestra in. It has evolved to 20 pieces now, and I think we're going to be singing about 28 to 30 singers. We've had, Koreans. It's just, we've had all ethnic groups, we've had all religions, and it's just how we've done it. People have come up and said, I cried during this. I laughed during that. I really felt that, and it was just neat to watch the amazing
That's
music.
why we are asking you to help us to put on this March 10th show at the Kroc Center. We are asking for $10,000. Every penny, every dollar that you can possibly give towards it will be greatly appreciated.
And that, our friends, is our mission and our hope. And as you can see, this is Don and Suzanne's calling. And I can attest that it is. And I have seen the testimonials of young people whose lives have been enriched and nourished through participating in and viewing Job, a postmodern opera of biblical proportions. And we hope that you will find it in your heart to help us and donate. Your credit cards will not be charged if we do not raise the amount of money, $10,000, as Don has stated, that we need. Only when we reach that point will your credit cards be charged. And we just hope that you will join us and help us in this endeavor.
Job, a postmodern opera of
Of
biblical
biblical
proportions.
proportions.
Now say that 3 times real fast.